What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Truly Chosen. Of course, we're here with Open Window with me and Pan, and we're talking about Dispatch today. As you're seeing this, we should have like a tier list kind of ranking all the characters beforehand, but this is more of our discussion video. We kind of mentioned it in that video where we're going to be doing more of a deep dive into the different characters, plot points. Do the choices really matter? We kind of decided to do this as well because this is one of the first decision-based games in a very long time where it's kind of had everybody on the internet, whether you're playing or whether you're watching, really just like tuned in every single week, trying to see your favorite creators, see what they're gonna do, see the different endings, the different romances, all that good stuff. I'm not saying it's perfect, not saying that it's game of the year. Some of y'all are tripping out there, but it is
Already
very, it's very refreshing. It's a very refreshing because we haven't had a game like this in a very long time. I'm talking about like because the Quarry. I think a lot of people played the Quarry, but I was trash. So like this one was definitely a step in the right direction. And of course, coming from some of the old creators from Telltale as well, it's like good to see that studio popping with Ad Hoc. Hopefully, they make more games in the future.
refreshing is the right word. As like the most important thing I feel like that this game did well is the setting and the script. The overall plot of having Robert, like an ex-superhero, he cannot use his suit anymore, and now he's bound to this desk job working with ex-supervillains. Run-of-the-mill misfits. Classic setup, mentor character, and a lot of characters that you have to rehabilitate and form into real heroes. The script elevates it because you have these monologues first and foremost, very memorable ones, especially from Robert, paired with dialogue that reminded me a lot of like a show such as Odd Taxi, where the characters are just saying things quickly and efficiently, effectively, so it just no breath is wasted. Basically, it references other stuff, calls back, it foreshadows even. I think these things are the strongest points this game does well. Not necessarily all of it, like there are still some hiccups here and there. I won't say it's perfect. These two things are basically what drew me into this game at first.
I agree. I think the setting was. I'm not trying to sit here and compare it to every other pieces of media, but kind of like a Suicide Squad type of thing where you have like a band of misfits, but of course the mentor this time is a lot more involved, kind of actually hands-on, trying to get to know them, trying to be I guess like become friends with them so they can trust in them and he can trust in them as well. Was very inviting. Like I think off of episode 1 and 2 most people were hooked and they were ready to see what happens next. I think the script is cool as well. Like at least for Aaron Paul, like Robert character, he did a lot of good monologues, very charismatic, very motivating. The comedy between all of Z Team, even between Robert and Blonde Blazer, Robert and Invisigal, like it feels natural. Sometimes not all the jokes land, or maybe you don't get the reference. I will say that, but for the most part, it wasn't like cringy. It didn't turn me away. Like
True.
I was laughing, chuckling to myself at something. I think it was pretty good. And I guess that leads into like as well with the mini game, like the main gameplay of Dispatch was just like, of course you have to have that stuff between the choices that you make. I know for old games like Telltale and stuff, it's kind of like point and click, and you have to go and like maybe go over here and search over here or discover over here. So this was really, I guess, innovative in a way where I haven't seen this before, at least me personally, where you're over here like sending these heroes to this and there, and then they have different abilities, different combinations with the characters where they kind of give a little boost if you put them together. I think a lot of people were even saying, myself included, like I would like for them to add like an endless mode to Dispatches on the side where like you could go in there and just kind of use your characters at max level and just like keep going until you like maybe run out of like lives or something like that, or just anybody make a separate game where like you just kind of dispatch heroes like that. I don't know if there's a game out there like that, but I would love to play it. I actually found at first I kind of did, it was kind of like a bore. I wanted to get back to the choices, but after you kind of level up your characters, it's like, yeah, like I like doing this. And they have a lot of quips and joking around when you're doing the dispatch game as well, so that adds into it. Maybe some you don't always hear it because you're kind of trying to focus to not fail and get them dispatched the right stuff, but all of it does tie in really, really well and makes it inviting to continue playing the game.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with stuff like art style, animation, design, characters of the backgrounds, the world. Same with the music. I think those are well done. It's inviting. For the setting, also fitting, colorful. Maybe not super unique, in terms of character designs, like a bad person or Malevola.
Oh, yeah.
We have seen them in other media before. Or the punch of the small guy who's very strong. We've seen these archetypes before, but I don't think that just because it's not overly unique that it's automatically bad or uninspired. It's still memorable enough to keep people playing.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people were hating on or saying anything against like the visuals or the music. It's still some good stuff. And
I don't think I have anything more to add. The more you kind of talk about the story and the characters, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I might get kind of dicey in these next couple of takes.
And
so just bear with us.
And I want to make clear that yes, in terms of Telltale-like choice games, right? Like these interactive movies almost, right? Like these type of games like Detroit Become Human, Quarry, I believe you said, Until Dawn, Walking Dead. This one's not necessarily the best, but also it's not the worst. Like it's still more on the good side. But if we are talking just plain old choice games, I think there's a lot better games out there. We talked about this on this channel before in some of our videos. Baldur's Gate 3, classic choice video
Mass Effect.
Jazz is playing it right now. He knows his shit now. Mass Effect, one of the best ones, even though it's pretty old comparatively out there. It's perfect here. Slay the Princess, for some of you who know, complete only choice game, only choices, but it's so well done, so smart. So if you're into choices, like making different decisions and getting different outcomes, this game might not be for you, which goes into one of my criticisms. Not necessarily bad, but the story's linearity is definitely a weaker point for me. You just have this whole one storyline that doesn't change. A lot of these key moments, they happen and you cannot change them. All you can do is have some flavored dialogue here and there. The story is still cool, it's compelling, which is why I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for the game to be linear. Walking Dead was also, let's say, linear, but even then, Walking Dead, I feel like still had more variations to it, especially The Walking Dead 2 with Clementine, because that should have like 4 endings or so. This game has one ending and then some small things change,
like
basically.
Some more, little differences, yeah.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing in my eyes, since, as I said, Telltale game, we know the deal. But it's not that good either.
It would have been a perfect, like I don't know if they still do it, but on Netflix they have like those like actual interactive movies where you kind of use your remote to kind of pick different choices and stuff. I think it would have been perfect like that. Even a lot of people were saying when the game first came out, within the first couple of episodes, they were like, this would be amazing as a TV show, or like this would have been amazing as like something like that. So if they ever decide to go like the Arcane route, where they just kind of just flesh everything out and like maybe give everyone like proper backstories and stuff like that, that would definitely eliminate that whole like feeling of it so linear and the choices not really mattering as much, and maybe besides like the occasional outliers here or there. So I definitely agree with how linear it can feel. Again, like you said, like if you play old Telltale games, you kind of know what to expect. I think a lot of people, this is their first decision-based game, so they're over like freaking out and being like, oh, like why did I even play this, or why even like allow this to be an option? And it's like, and the rest of us are like, are you new here? Like this is how it's been for a lot of these games, where like there's only a select few, where like maybe like Detroit Become Human or something like that, where like, okay, there's a lot of different ways this can turn out, but like usually if you're playing these like Telltale-esque type of games, definitely kind of stays in that linear path for sure.
It kind of works because just performance is also pretty good there, so you can definitely imagine just sitting there and watching without any interaction, let's say. Voice acting, of course, important thing here. Line delivery. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The professionals are doing a good job. Aaron Paul is not necessarily a professional voice actor, but he's a damn good actor. And I think that is enough for him to elevate the role of Robert to heights unlike all the other characters or most characters. The YouTuber characters or other just, non-professional ones, you can tell that they don't do this for a living. Even if they fit the character, it feels off. You can tell. Sonar, Punch Up, even Malevola, I would say, you can tell. The voice acting, has some good, has some bad sides to it. Some lines feel kind of like maybe not even in the same studio recording this, but someone just recorded those separately and then the other person recorded them separately, those lines, they put them together. I know a lot of games do that, but you have to know how to mix the volume and mix the sound for it to sound natural. Feels a bit as if two people talking that are not in the same room, which, I mean, in terms of how it was recorded, is probably the case.
There's some awkwardness for some of the dialogue for sure. I think for the most part, all the people who maybe this was their first time, like you said, they didn't do like terrible and they didn't like check me out of the entire game or anything. It's not really like a high point, but it's not a super low point either. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's just if they maybe did a little bit better dialogue and maybe gave some more characters some more screen time, which is, I guess, is an overarching issue, then maybe this could have been, I guess, solved. It would have been a little bit of a solution, but for what we were given, I'm not mad at it. I think everyone did pretty good. Of course, like some more than others, like Laura Bailey, obviously, like the people who like we know.
Speaking of screen time and character quality, maybe we're in the minority, but it just feels like this game gives you choices where one choice is clearly better or superior than the other. It doesn't even make sense story-wise for specific choices to happen, because you can tell the most work went into one of those two choices. As an example, Sonar and Coupe or like Waterboy Phenomenon, you can tell that Sonar should not be the surprise villain at the end. You can tell that Phenomenon should not be picked at first, because Waterboy has an actual arc he goes through. Even if you pick one or the other, their stories are not, it's still very limited. If you pick Sonar, then and he goes, then Coupe is gonna be in each scene where Sonar would have been, and vice versa. Same with Waterboy and Phenomenon. Like you get, if you pick Waterboy, you get a scene with him in the locker room. If you pick Phenomenon, you get a scene with Phenomenon in the locker room. But you can tell that some choices are definitely more quote-unquote canon, and I think the biggest one, and that may be a hot take, Invisigal seems like the romanceable character that the writers wanted you to pick, simply because she is the focus of the main story. She's the main character, and Blazer isn't even there for a lot of those episodes. So she is romanceable, but it feels like she was inserted as a romance character later down the line. Not necessarily super late, because she's still part of the story and the scenes are written accordingly, but she feels more of a side character. So the game pushes Invisigal on you without even if you don't like her, they still push it on you. She has more scenes, she has more relevance, and Blazer just low-key becomes forgotten.
Exactly. Like they for sure, like again, they wrote this story and it feels like they kind of went back and maybe edited a couple things. Like, okay, let's make it, they can pick between Waterboy and Phenomenon. Let's make it so they have to cut one of these two. So it can kind of, like I said, the whole illusion of choice where it feels like they actually have a say in how the story goes, but really that's not how it goes at all. And even if you choose not to do anything, I know a lot of people were saying like, for Robert, they didn't kiss Blonde Blazer in the first episode, and they kind of kept on rejecting Invisigal's advances. But no matter what, you still have to go on a date with one of them at the end of episode 4. I think that they, at the very least, they could have added that, where it's like you could choose to maybe just go hang out with the rest of Z Team, and then maybe have a whole night with Z Team of kind of like expanding on their characters and getting to know them a little bit more instead of having to.
That would be fire. Shit.
Yeah. Instead of hanging out with the other two girls, if you choose to do so, like things like that, where like, of course, I know you can get the ending where you friend zone both of them, but you can also still save both of them, obviously, like, with the good ending and everything. But it still doesn't really feel that way because they still kind of keep pushing this romance with Invisigal to the very last minute. So I think that's. Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of these choices feel canon, or not even just canon, but like that's just how the story is. And if you pick against it, you have a little bit less of an enjoyable experience. And a lot of people that were liking on the Blonde Blazer group was like, I don't even get to see her. Even in episode 4, where if you choose to go out with her, you don't see her that entire episode. And I think you barely see her in episode 3. And then after episode 4, I still think she's kind of on the wayside. She doesn't really pop back up until she comes and like saves you again from that bar and stuff with Shroud. Like they just don't really give her that, that screen time. Waterboy, the same thing. Waterboy, we were talking about it a little bit in the tier list when we were ranking him. Like Waterboy over here spraying flambe when you tell them that you're a Mecha Man. He's the one that kind of is really, really pissed and throws the chair into the vending machine, no matter whether you pick him or you pick Phenomenon. Like he has these key moments where like he's showing character growth and development, and you just you don't get that if you pick Phenomenon first.
Would Waterboy actually be that mad about Chase possibly dying if you don't pick him?
Exactly. I don't think Chase and him even had a conversation the entire time, like at least not on screen for us to see.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense if he's on the team with you.
This is so weird because some scenes are definitely written in such a way where you expect a certain choice. Like I like Apollo as Apollo the Almighty in his playthrough. He picked Phenomenon at first, and then in episode 7, Waterboy is still crashing out.
Yeah.
If you pick Phenomenon, you don't even know the character like that. You don't know how he ticks. So
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. And this kind of goes into the bad category, but I want to mention it here before we get to that point. Blazer giving up her power, giving away her power to Chase is so confusing to players who don't go on a date with her. Because this is an instance where it's not necessarily that one choice is more canon than the other. It feels like you have to pick both choices to understand the scene fully. Like you would need to pick Blazer obviously to know about her identity, because otherwise you just wouldn't really know.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell?
But you still go into like romancing her, like invisigal, if you want to, fully trust her, if you want to, go that route. So you have to know both routes if you want to do invisigal. Like, I don't know why they did that. I didn't even think about it when it happened, but it's so true.
It definitely is really awkward. And even if you do choose to go on a date with Blonde Blazer, we were saying as well, like, yeah, you know that she has like an alter ego, I guess. Like this is not really her. Like she has like this little amulet alien artifact. But again, there's nothing that's ever done with her character of like explaining where she got that from.
No backstory.
And we said this also in the tier list video because it just clicked to when we were kind of talking about all the characters. We're like the very first scene with like one of the very first scenes with Blonde Blazer, she tells you that once you tell her your backstory, you're like, I'm the third. My grandpa, my father was, Mecha Man. I'm Mecha Man. She tells you that she's going to tell you one day about, like what her backstory is, and then she never tells you. You think they'd put that conversation in it when you have that date. That's perfect. Like you have the date, you pick her, she shows you like who she really is. You have the kiss, or maybe you decide not to kiss her, or whatever. And then when y'all sit down on that little thing on the little table, and you see Waterboy, like comic relief, they could have put a whole conversation right there, just a couple more minutes of being like, yeah, like I'm from here, and this is how I got this amulet. Like just even that would have added a little bit more oomph to her character. Just a couple more dialogue questions right there. You can just go back and forth with it. But instead, it's just like, I think it just shows Waterboy goofing off and it cuts right off and that's it. And then we know nothing until the last episode. So it's just like things like that, bro. And again, I'm not saying like we were saying that we wish they maybe did a couple more episodes, but even just like a couple more minutes in that scene with the date could have meant a lot more. Or even with Invisigal too. Like both of the dates, they maybe a little bit more conversation.
Both could have done more, yes. They were definitely cut short on both ends. That goes into the whole, this is our real criticism, because these things before, this is criticism, but there's still some good in there. You can definitely argue against these. Now that we get to the real stuff that we didn't really enjoy, didn't like, or could have been done better. And since you already talked about pacing, definitely that. Pacing is off, okay? It's slow, but the story moves fast. So a lot of stuff happens off screen. We don't see the Z-Team growing closer to Robert. Robert is a few episodes in already talking about I'm starting to like you guys, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, I'm Mecha Man. Come on, bro. You don't know them like that, at least in our eyes. We haven't seen enough interaction to fully comprehend this friendship, this relationship between these characters. It just feels awkward. Some of these characters don't even interact with you like that. Robert never really interacts with Prism, Punch Up, with Golem, Malevola. It's basically just Flambe and Invisigal. If we're talking Z-Team. This goes into a different problem, that is the lack of substance. Characters stay flat. Like Sonar is a peak example. It's just there for comedic effect, which works for the voice acting, of course, but is he really that deep? Not really. Like some characters are just there to get jokes out, and if they're not, then they are just there, I guess, chilling. Malevola is a peak example of that. She's not necessarily funny, but she's just there in the scene.
Yeah, just strong. That's it.
Yeah, you have serious moments that just on some Marvel shit just have some jokes inserted in there. Sometimes it works, often it doesn't. I don't know. There are moments where the game tries to be funny, and I would just not necessarily cringe, but I just wonder, like, I don't know, who thinks this is funny, right? I saw this opinion online and was thinking, and I agree a lot, because I was thinking the same thing at the end of the series. You have a setting where villains are rehabilitated, where heroes go and try to make bad people good, but then at the same time you don't really go into that whole plot line, except for Invisigal, because she has an actual redemption arc, and Waterboy kind of too. Jazz said, yeah, you said she's the only written character.
Yeah, like I think she's truly the only written character
It's
besides
such a
like
funny
maybe
way
Water.
to phrase it. We don't really see anything of that nature for any of the Z team, and don't come with Coupe or Sonar, because no fucking way would I ever call that a fucking arc. They were neutral, they become evil, and then you can forgive them. What do you mean? I don't know about the forgiving shit.
That was pretty crazy.
Because Coupe is an assassin. She was dead ass out there killing people, man. Yeah, she's one of us, bro. Come on.
Now that scene is crazy when you think about it, because literally when you're playing the dispatch mini game for both of them, like Sonar or Coop, whoever you chose to cut, they're destroying LA. Like they were just destroying LA and like killing people and doing all kinds of crazy shit, and then we have a fight where like they're trying to kill us as well, and then you're just like, all right, bet you can just join the team back. Like I chose to save her or to forgive her or whatever in my run, because it was like a pacifist run or whatever
pussy,
with Robert.
We know.
Oh my fucking god. But it's like story wise, it's kind of like that shouldn't even been an option. It should just they should just threw her in jail with the toxic dude and the armed dude, and that should have been
very true.
Shouldn't have been a thing. Like the pacing really is like they could have for sure used like 2 more episodes, or if anything, like we were saying, like just make a whole brand new season. I think even inside the trailer, when they were showing for 7 and 8, it said season finale. So we were like, all right, bet. We hope that maybe they can show Shroud, not that like they can't show him, but they can show him and like kind of build him up some more, and then make it to where we have to fight Shroud at the end of season 2. I get it that this is a new studio, this is their first game. They didn't think it that far ahead, obviously, but like it's more of like a wishful thinking, or like in hindsight, like if we had a perfect timeline, maybe 7 and 8 would have been like episode 8 could have honestly ended on like finally figuring out that who the mole was, who the traitor was, and that would have been Invisigal. Like we find out that she's the one that plants the bomb on your back. She's the one that's been being this double agent. And then we have to kind of sit with that while we wait for season 2. And then maybe in season 2 they could like build some more of these, or maybe not. I don't know. Of course they could have been switched around and stuff, obviously, but pacing definitely a very big issue.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to just the characters and how flat, like we were saying in the chill list, bro, there's a reason why like half the characters are in like crayon eaters, if not meh. Because they have nothing done for them. Again, ties into the pacing as well. I truly feel like Invisigal is the only written character, and she's not even like crazy good written. It's just kind of just like
that's why it's just written.
She's cool. She's cool for sure.
You said LA, that ties into it. We said it in the last segment about choices sometimes not really mattering all that much. That's a typical Telltale fashion, as I said. XYZ is going to remember doesn't change a lot. Really minimal stuff. Even in the final episode, Chase is going to remember. You're not remembering shit. The thing that annoyed me, actually, that was annoying to me. Because this is kind of, it just sucks, okay? It's that there are no repercussions for any kind of failure you do. You can fail every quick time, you can fail every hack. The story goes on, the characters find different ways to overcome the current issue. You could just go fucking take a shit and come back, and the story would just, be at the same place without any difference. You can fail the LA minigame. You can let Coupe or Sonar destroy LA. Of course, you cannot save them then. You cannot bring them back, but there are no repercussions. Like, nobody even really mentions anything there. Damn, the city is destroyed? We don't care. We are the Z team, guys. Come on. Yes, sir, Steve. No, it's so... and then posing in front of the camera. We beat Shroud, but the city is in ashes. But we cool. There's one SpongeBob image. Yeah, we saved the city. City is burning. This is basically it. Come on.
I didn't even think about that till you said it. Like, that is very true. I'm over here like frantically trying to like hit X on time and move the fucking analog stick, and none of that shit really matters. You still get your ass beat by Shroud. It's not like it changes anything about the outcome. I'm not. Again, I get it, bro. Money and making different timelines costs a lot.
There are
and time.
limitations. We get it.
But
Okay, I'm not gonna fault the studio for keeping it like this simply because they are starting out. Even I'm digressing here. Even on some Expedition 33, phenomenal game, great game. And it's still, you can tell there are some limitations. They're using open source models, they're using animations they find for free or some shit online. You do that if you are a small, I get it, okay? There have to be some limits to things. You cannot go on some Detroit Become Human stuff, because that dude David Cage had a budget. He was able to make that game. The choices you make there, that's a lot of work, and I get that Dispatch cannot have that. But at the same time, give us some repercussions. Let us fail, okay? No way Robert can fail every single dispatch and nothing happens. What do you mean? Except for maybe Jazz. Jazz game crashed twice because he was an ass.
Nah, I don't know how I got an ending. Well, not even an ending.
He had the secret failure.
One of the first few episodes, like during like one of the dispatch, I was doing so bad, the game like glitched. It didn't let me continue. I had to restart and do it over again.
Maybe
that should be a thing. Over. That should be a thing though. Like if you fail the dispatch, at the very least, the game should make you restart. Or it should like you were again, it's like wishful thinking, but like it'd been so cool like if you were using a particular, I guess villain or whatever, one of the Z team members a lot more. Like you kept on sending out Prism, you kept on sending out Melville or whatever. They would actually kind of reciprocate that in like dialogue choice, or like maybe like just a little scene where like, thank you for looking out for me, like raising up the rankings. I thought that was crazy as well. Like when they decided to cut Coop or Sonar, I think they should have like actually done it based on who you were sending out more and who you were sending out less, and who was failing more. That would have been a cool thing. Then anyone could have been cut. So like if you really messing up with Punch Up and really messing up with I don't know, Malvola, then you have to choose between Malvola or Punch Up. Mm-hmm. That should have been what it was, instead of kind of just being like, it has to be Sonar, it has to be Coop. Loki, there's some of the better people. It's like Coop is fire, and Sonar has like the two different modes you can use for the dispatch. Like that would have made a lot more sense. Again, we understand, but
there are limitations.
It's just things
a lot more time necessary, a lot more work to be done. Funny enough, the first dispatch tutorial you can completely fail it if you want, and then Robert says something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm not really good at that shit, or so good at that thing." And Blazer is still asleep, she doesn't even notice, and she still takes you for the job. Like, would you actually take him there if he cannot even do the tutorial?
Nah, low key.
Like, why is he there? Why are you so interested in Robert if he sucks? But it's okay. Final words. There definitely potential there. I would say still a lot of good stuff is in here. On the surface, on technicalities, technical aspect, the music, art style, script, I like it, okay? Characters, even the worst characters, like from the main squad and whatever, are still here and there enjoyable. Not necessarily good, but, they're cool, enjoyable. But there are many points to criticize, a lot of pitfalls. Some of them are typical Telltale things that are just bad, and some of them are just story writing things that could have been better or should have been better or differently done.
Like overall, bro, it was like, I don't want y'all to be listening. Some of y'all might agree, obviously, and get where we're coming from. This is not a bad game by any means. I think it's good to be critical like this, because for sure, this success was probably like maybe more than they would even anticipated. Mm-hmm. So they're for sure gonna make another game, whether it be a season 2 of Dispatch with like brand new characters and kind of just building on the world, or maybe something completely different. It's good for them to hear some type of criticism that's, of course, based in like, we love the game. Like, it was a good game. It was very refreshing. Me personally, I love choice-based games. I like whenever there's something drops like this, I'm always itching to play, no matter like, whether it's like, maybe not a 10 out of 10, I still want to give it a try just because I just love the game genre so much. Yeah, this is constructive criticism. We did like the game. The romances, the characters, they're, very endearing. There's a reason why we were waiting for it every single week. Mm-hmm. It's just that, looking back on it, there's definitely some improvements that can be had. And they probably know it too. They know this shit is not perfect. They know they're probably working with limited funds and resources and kind of just trying to get their foot in the door to get people to kind of look at them and buy their product. Yeah. And now they can definitely improve on it moving forward. But let us know your thoughts down below as well, of course. How you felt about, the choices not really mattering, some of the characters. If you're an Invisigal stan, if you're a Blonde Blazer stan, maybe you just ended up single and lonely. I don't fucking know. Let us know down below.
Maybe you're just interested in Prism's ass. We know. We are too. Come on now.
Some of y'all, some there's like a huge like growing Waterboy fandom that they really, I don't know, like It's crazy, bro. It's
That's to be
crazy over there
expected.
on
That's to be
TikTok.
expected. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been Open Window with Jazz and Pan on Dispatch. Next video, we will see. We don't even know ourselves what next video is going to be.
Not at all.
But for now, peace out.
Bye, y'all.